Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, archangels and ascended masters, for the perfect grace, perfect clarity, and perfect peace that is here for each of us and all of us right now. Thank you to the angelic realm, the elemental realm, our ancestors, spirit guides, animal guides, and guardian angels. We thank you for this opportunity for wonderful grace, for great certainty and great clarity. We're so grateful for this opportunity to feel loved and appreciated in this moment. We release any complexity and we allow this simplicity of angelic contact to be part of our experience right now. We recognize all the hours, minutes, months, weeks, years that we've spent with spirituality in our hearts and on our minds, decades, and we allow right now for that muscle, which is well honed, to be used and for that muscle to relax and to receive. We allow anything that doesn't serve us, anything that we feel like we want to release, we allow the angels to do that instantaneously as we create a clean slate for the highest possible good to come forward. We allow ourselves to make room for the experiences that we want to have, including ones that include laughter and satisfaction and peace of mind and calm. We allow ourselves to be in a space that we enter frequently in our spiritual work, where we're receiving and in tune and in sync. We allow this relaxation to be with us right now, knowing that the highest good is here. And we choose in this moment to release anything that might feel like pressure. We choose to release anything that feels constricting. We release the idea that life is too complex, and we allow right now for the simple joys of life: breathing, being present, connecting, receiving guidance, being delighted, being part of something, being transformed, being confident, having indeed all of our needs met, and witnessing the universe at work. We celebrate all of this right now. And with all this and for all this, we celebrate life and our liberty and our peace. So we'll just breathe into all this. And we'll just breathe into all that. Wonderful. So if we could notice our good friend Mother Mary, who often tends to our physical bodies and our physical states, if we could notice her doing that right now, and perhaps one thing she's doing is just creating a very contained space for her to exist with you right now. So we'll just breathe in that lovingly contained space, an intimate space, and just feel her attention, her full attention being on you, her being with all of us at once. So we'll just lovingly just breathe in and we'll notice that. We'll notice her attention being on you. And we'll just very simply just breathe in and just notice a wonderful distribution of peace into every single muscle in your body, a wonderful distribution of relaxation, and very simply allowing all that has happened today and with New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and all the build up to it, all the different dates and connections and contexts. We'll just very simply let all of that be acknowledged and recognize that we have this moment right now to receive. So we'll just breathe in. If we could let Mother Mary, like a wonderful miracle, if we could just breathe into her, calming every single system in your body, bringing peace to every single aspect of your life, and her helping in all ways right now. So we'll just lovingly breathe into all that. And if we could notice her making herself at home next to you as a wonderful companion. And if we could just notice her energy field blending with your energy field and her relaxation, her presence, encouraging the same within your physical body and your emotional body. We'll notice it being okay to not have to require ourselves to be highly intellectual right now. We could very simply just receive and be in flow in this guided experience. So we'll just breathe in. And if we could notice in this space that Mary has created and cultivated and is occupying with you, if we could just very simply notice that that's a safe space. And if we could very simply notice, and you could just notice how this is for you, the river the river flowing right nearby, which might be right outside the space, might be above the space or beneath the space, but the river is flowing. And if we could notice that you have shelter from the river flowing, but the river is flowing. If we could just notice that movement being consistent, and very simply, you and Mother Mary being in proximity to the flowing river. So we'll just breathe in. And if we can notice, perhaps playfully, if we could just very simply notice anything that you want to just toss away, like putting like a paper boat on a river and watching it, or a stream and watching it float. If we could just contribute anything that you feel complete with, let's say like tension, like busyness, like confusion, if we could let those paper boats or those energies just be tossed in the river and just let them flow away. And we'll just lovingly breathe into all that. Wonderful. And if we could notice a collection of nature guides being near the river, and then as such being in proximity to you, if we could just notice those nature guides, including the goddess Freya, including Green Man, who's a Celtic figure. But if we could also notice the guide, who we might call the elk god, if we could just breathe in to the elk god's presence, which might be an elk itself. But if we could notice the power like a crown of the antlers, and if we could just breathe into that figure, be that an elk itself or a human with elk qualities, if we could just notice the presence, that elk energy, creating something brand new and adding. So we'll notice indeed the presence of a new guide among familiar guides and loving guides. We'll just very simply notice the contribution, like a new guest at a party or having something new at a meal. If we could just breathe into this new flavor and letting everything be right on time and letting everything work perfectly. So we'll just breathe into all this. Wonderful. And with wonderful, deep clarity and peace of mind, we'll just notice you and Mother Mary, these guides in proximity to you. And if we could very simply notice all the guides that are present, all the ones mentioned, perhaps 5 or 6 more, if we could just notice them very simply, acknowledging what a good job you did in the concluded year, all the progression, all the healing, all the release, all the learning, all the opportunities. So if we could just breathe in and we'll just take in all that praise and to feel a sense of indeed accomplishment. And if we could just notice the receptivity of that praise at face value, and we're not going to spend time assessing, well, this worked and this didn't work. It's very simply trust that we're human beings on a spiritual evolution, doing our absolute best. We'll recognize that we continue to do things like this. We continue to engage with spirituality because it works well for us. So if we could just breathe in and notice all those positive changes, and we'll allow in this moment a welcoming of even more positive changes. And like the river swirling and flowing and being mighty and peaceful and providing, if we could just feel those qualities, might, not brute strength, but might and energy, being part of your year that has started today, great relaxation, having all of our needs met and exceeded, and witnessing that for all of humanity, being provided for in all ways. Wonderful. So we'll just breathe into all that. And if we could just very simply notice Mother Mary in the contained space that she has created and cultivated for the two of you to exist in, if we can notice her being a goddess, just stretching out her arm and her putting her fingers in the river and holding your hand at the same time. So one hand holding your hand, her other hand in the river. If we could just breathe into a spaciousness and a spacious flow, being here right now, and feeling all the positive qualities of hydration, cleanliness, our bodies thriving on water, flow, generosity. So we'll just breathe into all this. And if we could notice a bit like an anointment, if we could just very simply notice Mother Mary with her fingers wet from the river, very simply perhaps um, drawing on your forehead or using the water to make a design on your forehead. And we'll notice Mother Mary speaking very, very specific and loving words to you. Words of praise, words of inclusion, words of affirmation, that you are loved. And she is proud of you, and she is here to help. And that help maintains, that help expands. And she is one of many, many, many guides here to help you out. So just breathe into that symbology on your forehead with water and her fingers. Wonderful. We'll just notice a continuation of that action of Mother Mary holding one of your hands and returning her hand to the river, then perhaps a few droplets of water here and there on arms and the bridge of your nose, and just cleansing and clearing. We'll just breathe into all that as it continues to happen. We'll also notice joining you and Mother Mary in that cultivated, contained space, that nurturing space. We'll notice the goddess Kali, Kali, indeed a goddess of transformation. If we could just breathe into her presence and her loving experience helping people on the planet. And she's saying this with humor, but she's got a pedigree. And if we could just breathe in to that, taking that sense of humor as a joyful invitation, if we could just breathe in and just very simply allow her access to anything that might feel tense, anything that might feel confusing, to let her have access to anything that doesn't serve you anymore. And if we could very simply just breathe in and notice Kali, who might be quite tall, if we could just notice her arranging herself where her back is leaning against your back, and her neck can lean against your neck, and let her become you, and let you adopt positive qualities, including relaxation from her and for her. So if we could just breathe into this wonderful connection. And in the trust that we have that all the guides know every single thing about us, she is engaged with the things that thrill you, things that bring you immense satisfaction, great joy, great sense of wonder, great sense of belonging and peace. So we'll just breathe in, we'll just notice her amplifying those opportunities, those moments, and creating a wonderful experience of peace, of harmony, and of joy here right now, knowing that all of this good is here, knowing that all of this peace is here, knowing that everything truly is in perfect and divine order in this moment. So indeed, we'll just breathe into all this, and we'll feel a wonderful experience and sense of wholeness and harmony for the highest, highest, highest possible good. And we'll just breathe into all that. And if we could notice with smiles, Kali, Mother Mary, and including the other guides and goddesses that are here, Freya included, if we could notice them looking forward in the air, and they're not using dates and calendars and such, but through your heart and through your experiences. And if we could just notice them infusing joy into every single day. Let's notice them infusing health, radiant health, into every single day, including today. We'll notice them infusing fun and laughter into every single day. A smile as you enjoy a sunset, or as you laugh as you hear a wonderful coincidence being spoken of, or notice the perfect thing happening in your life. We'll just breathe into these contributions every single day. Great moments of joy and satisfaction. Good news, good news, good news. Healing, incredible light, incredible love. So we'll just breathe into all of this. And with a squeeze of your hand, if we could notice Mother Mary asking and helping for all that to not be an idea, but to be an experience. And if we could just breathe and feel that experience right now of being loved, of Mary and Kali, Freya, the elk, Green Man, the river, Coventina, who works with detoxification. If we can notice Lady Portia, just all of them being with you and infusing joy and happiness and strength into every single moment, including this one right now, and all that being effortless, all that being delightful, all of that being peaceful. So we'll just breathe into all that. And we'll just welcome, we won't attach to how it will work. We'll focus on the what, which is let's welcome new knocks on your door. Perhaps with that wording, new knocks at your door. Only good, only good, only good. And we'll just breathe into that, welcoming new knocks, welcoming familiar knocks, welcoming great communication and wonderful opportunities. So we'll just breathe into all of this. Wonderful. And with a wonderful reshuffling, of positioning, if we could just notice in this contained space that you and Mary and Kali occupy right next to the river, if we could notice everything changing so your head is in Mother Mary's loving lap. And if we could just breathe in and notice her soft and warm, loving hands on your face, maybe on your forehead or your cheeks. And if we could notice her loving you, loving you, loving you with incredible care, great gentleness, and expert healing. So we'll just notice all of that goodness, all of that grace, and all that peace being present right now. And we'll just breathe into all that and just notice her wonderful, healing, gentle touch. And we'll just notice great goodness coming from that touch right now. So we'll just lovingly breathe into all that. Wonderful. And we'll very simply, very, very simply notice a continuation of love, like the river flowing right next to you and Mother Mary. We'll notice the flow of her love being unending and deep and ceaseless. So we'll just breathe into all that. And we'll just notice the flow of Mother Mary's love moving through every single system in your body, moving through all existing thoughts. We don't need to go into the thoughts. We're already experts in our own thoughts. Any unconscious thoughts, any beliefs, just letting Mother Mary's love flow through everything, your fingernails, your fingertips, your fingerprints, your DNA, your desires, your to-do list, your heart chakra, your chakra system, your meridians, your breath, your senses. So we'll just breathe in to love flowing to you from Mother Mary in every single part of your being. A wonderful opportunity for great healing, a healing and relaxation of all of your senses, including your eyes, and your ears, and your nose, and everything connected with feeling, including your nervous system, everything connected with touch and taste. So we'll just breathe into love flowing through every single part of your existence. Love flowing into everything that we use, devices, computers, phones, notebooks, diaries, automobiles, house keys, everything working well, showers, connections. So we'll just breathe into everything being filled with love. And if we could just breathe in, and if we could notice Mother Mary revealing to you or showing you the message like a letter, or a note from your own heart that she's very simply delivering to you. If we could just breathe in, it's like the owls in Harry Potter, except it's Mother Mary. If we could just breathe in and just notice that note or letter from your heart for you, if we could just breathe in, and perhaps we'll just feel the energy of that. And perhaps the energy of that is unity, of being on the same page, and capacity, the capacity to have great fun, the capacity to heal, the capacity to have a good time, the capacity to have a different year, with the goal being to have a year of great substance and fun and joy. New knocks at the door, new dynamics, a growth of your spiritual practice, which involves a growth in non-attachment, a growth in manifestation, and recognizing that you already have those muscles. And very simply, we're going to put them to use with elegance and grace and joy. So we'll just breathe into all of this. Wonderful. And we'll just breathe into all this goodness to the right. And this is, if we could just notice Mother Mary maintaining what we'll notice as a detail. Charles Dickens, who wrote A Christmas Carol, which has been replayed countless times in the last month, he'd like us to take the message of A Christmas Carol to heart. This is for each of us and all of us, that people can change and evolve, and that you're doing great. And what he's communicating with a full heart and being thrilled is the listening that we're already doing to ourselves, to each other, and with the universe. That those doors are open and those doors are strong. And this wonderful communication. So we'll very simply we'll acknowledge Charles' observation, his contribution, and how glad he is, in his 19th century way, how glad he is to be part of what we're doing right now. And it feels to him like a continuation of what he wanted to do with giving hope in stories and demanding social change through stories, which worked. So we'll just breathe in. And we'll just feel that validation and let it be part of the validation and healing and care we're receiving from Mother Mary. And if we tune in also to Mother Mary of asking us to relax into the new year with grace and ease, that perhaps the American overemphasis on being gung-ho, we're going to do this, which is all great. But if we could just notice it being safe to be relaxed, for things to flow, as we've been working on, to not insist that we be part of solutions to everything, but just to welcome the solution and to celebrate the solution. So we'll just breathe into all this goodness and all this grace, and that we are heard. You are heard. So we'll just breathe into all that. Mother Mary's, it's like the next thought, but it's a continuation of the previous thought. She's giving examples the same way that you could put your hand on your heart and feel your heartbeat, or hear a bird, or hear the clock tick, or hear music, or hear your hand on making a sound, that she hears you. And she is part of your day. And that gives her great joy and fills her heart. So we'll just breathe in and we'll know the river is running, and that we are in flow too, and that good things are flowing. Good is flowing to us. Things that don't serve us are flowing away from us. We need not pay attention. And it's safe for us to transform. It's safe for us to grow. It's safe for us to be confident. It's safe for us to be settled and to have fun. It's safe for us to be happy. It's safe for us to experience personal peace and witness global peace. It's safe for good things to happen. So we'll just breathe into all that. With wonderful harmony, great peace, and incredible love, we'll say to all the guides that have come forward, Coventina and Freya, the elk, Green Man, Kali, Charles, Mother Mary, Archangel Michael, who's always holding space, and we'll say to all of them, thank you so much. And we'll just say a couple things out loud. I relax with ease. I love my life. I welcome positive new knocks at my door. I ask for this or something better. Thank you. And with a great breath and a sense of peace, we thank the presence of Mother, Father, God, and all the archangels and ascended masters. We thank as well the angelic realm, the elemental realm, our ancestors, spirit guides, animal guides, and guardian angels. We thank you for this opportunity for wonderful grace, incredible peace, outstanding love, and fullness. We celebrate the flow that is part of our lives. We celebrate the flow being consistent and constant and helpful. We thank the wonderful Mother Mary for helping us and loving us so much and being with us in every single moment, as are the angels. And with wonderful grace and clarity and peace, we celebrate life and we ask for this or something better right now in all directions of time. And so it is.